Hello, I'm Philip Stoten for EMSNow. I'm here wrapping up Apex 2013 in San Diego, California, and I'm joined by our new features editor, Steve Chapman. Steve, thanks for stopping by. Trevor Galbraith from Global SMT, who I'm sure everybody knows, and Andy Shaughnessy from PCB Design 007 and various other 007 publications. Just wanted to start going on the panel. I'll start with you, Andy. Just give me a couple of highlights, a couple of new things that have stood out for you, maybe particularly on the PCB and the design side.
Yeah, on the design side, we started with Designers Forum, had a decent crowd, maybe a little down from last year, but really good quality instructors. We had, Rick Hartley, Happy Holden, a lot of the, longtime veteran instructors. Really good Designers Forum. And kind of wrapped it up with last night, ODB++ celebrated their first year anniversary of the ODB Alliance, and had a little banquet.
Yeah.
And they're now continuing to blend all the Valor tools in with Mentor tools, so now that they have design through assembly software solutions. So
and something like 3,700 members now on the Alliance.
It is.
It's a pretty impressive number.
Yeah, and one of the users said the best thing about ODB was that they don't even really know it's there. It's kind of like part of the wallpaper.
Yep. Okay.
Which it should be.
That's a good sign. Trevor, what have you seen perhaps more on the SMT and assembly side?
A few things at the show. I think first of all, Universal brought out a new platform, the Fusion pick and place system. Saw a very neat new stencil holder, basically from LaserJob, a German company. They brought out a version that matches. Is much lighter than the ones that we've seen from other vendors, and allows a lot easier storage. Then, of course, Aegis, they had a very nice software introduction, which they leveraged off the back of their recent D-Plan acquisition. That brought in a lot of that D-Plan, of course, being the former Siemens software company, and that's brought them more into the box-built side of the business and a full-line solution. So that was interesting.
Yeah, it does seem like a nice solution, and it kind of brings together all their, not just their experience in terms of software development, but their feedback from many, many years of working with big EMS companies, big customers. So that's important. Steve, from a kind of a feel-good point of view, from an anecdotal point of view, what do you think the US market, what does the US market feel like to you at the moment?
From the people I spoke to, and there was quite a few of them, almost entirely confidence.
Right.
Yeah, confidence. Seems to be a lot of, I suppose, anecdotal evidence about it was a bit tight at the end of last year, and it was almost as if there was a blockage waiting to be shifted with the election. That was mentioned more times than I care to remember. That's happened, it's gone through, and people said, but it seems to be the floodgates, and maybe they open. Floodgates is probably too strong a word, but there were a lot of people saying it's really quite good and it's starting to happen. They had high expectations, I think. There was optimism if not expectations.
Before the show started.
Elections tend to be one of these things that do slow down decision making. I mean, it happened in China as well last year.
Well, also they had the fiscal cliff as well, which they have on a regular basis.
That's right.
We run towards the edge of it and we stop, but it's there time and time again.
The sequestration thing, of course, you mentioned that. Sequestration is the only people that I saw that were really worried at this show were military contractors, because the sequestration, if it goes through, it's like 2% or whatever it is across the board, over 10 years. I mean, we're talking not a whole lot of money, and everything that they need for this year has already been ordered, and it's all set, so it's kind of much about that.
But I think there is definitely a pullback on military, and frankly, I think that was going to happen anyway, irrespective of who got in at the election, because the military guys themselves are asking for more of the budget to be put into cyber terrorism, which is really software-driven business, and that's away from the hardware.
So replacement sectors, perhaps we should talk about. We, certainly from contract manufacturers and other people, we heard a lot about the automotive sector. They're kind of, I guess, placing a lot of hope in that sector. Do you think that's valid?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more electronics going into cars, and that's definitely going to continue. And there's even going to be more, well, as you saw at Flextronics SBS, there's even more electric cars coming on.
Well, that's it.
But Yeah, there's some real interesting stuff happening at the moment. I mean, we're all aware already of the new the Apple products that are coming back, and talk of high volume manufacturing there. And I'm hearing stories about another high volume project coming back to the United States. There's definitely some optimism out there.
Yeah, there's some stuff going on. I think the automotive industry is in this interesting phase where we've had this basically mechanical internal combustion engine thing, and we're adding electronics to it. But now electronics is becoming fundamental part of the cost structure and fundamental part of the supply chain.
I mean, what is it? It's over a third of the car now.
Yeah, well, some cars are talking about 50% of the value, but also in terms of things that concern them, reliability issues, that's where the new challenges are. And I guess from a design point of view, the automotive industry must be requiring a lot of reliability in the design.
Right. It's all high rel, and seems to be the one thing that isn't going away.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, do you guys hear about onshoring? Does that seem to be a big thing here?
Yeah, now we're trying to pick a term for that. We've been criticised for using onshoring, reshoring.
Nearshoring.
Eric likes to call it regionalisation.
Right.
And to me, it's kind of a correction that was required.
Right.
We all rushed to Asia like lemmings, and now we've realised some projects don't fit in. So to me, that's about smart outsourcing.
It's definitely coming back a bit, But and one of the interesting things I learned this week, which I didn't know before, is that one of the reasons that Mexico's booming so well is because they're picking up a lot of business from Brazil, because they've got a free trade agreement. So they're not having to pay the 40% import duties to get things into.
That's really interesting.
Brazil.
And that's the very reason Foxconn are in Sao Paulo, and that area is developing so much. And it's a pretty smart move on the part of the Brazilian government to hang on to that business. Just as a wrap up, we'll go from this end. But just tell me what you've been doing this week, and how our readers can access your material.
Mainly, I was covering the design side, and it's accessible on PCBdesign007.com or on realtimewith.com.
And you've shot numerous interviews.
Yeah, I don't know how many.
You've been cranking through them.
100 and some videos.
Yes. What about you, Trevor?
I certainly haven't done that number, but I've done an awful lot of videos this week, because we principally focus on the technology and visit people's booths and look at the new products. So a lot of new product videos that will be on globalsmt.net or globalsmt TV. So certainly have a look at those.
Yeah, take a look at those. And Steve, you're not your first time, because you did Southern Manufacturing last week, but
it was interesting. A new perspective for me, going around a show that I thought I knew, but from a different dimension, which was interesting. So there's so much more you see. In this position, I met an awful lot of people. I saw a lot of companies that was interesting, eye-opening. Good messages. People were very welcoming. They were pretty positive. I only had one guy say that he's looking forward to going to Vegas more than he was
San Diego,
and that's just a but he was really the only one. I thought that's an interesting number, given the number of people that I spoke to.
A lot of walking in Vegas. I remember this.
Now bringing a slightly different dimension to the show as well, because we're getting more of the, quite a lot of the Hispanics coming up from Mexico to this show. But whereas
we've had good feedback on Mexican visitors.
Yeah, but I think Vegas actually attracts almost a little bit more of an international crowd. It's easier to get to.
Yeah, and maybe some more of the Midwest as well. We'll be there. And Trevor, you made a really interesting point about when you're doing video, about what you're doing in terms of the technology. And I think it's just an interesting point to make as we wrap up here, that what we do separately actually meshes together quite well, and they're quite complementary. And that's why I'm keen that our readers have access to what you're doing as well. Guys, thanks very much for stopping by and talking.
Thank you, Phil.
Enjoyed seeing you all week, and look forward to seeing you in Nuremberg, Shanghai, wherever the next one is.
Wherever the next one is.
Thank you.
There we go.